Hello and welcome back to the other side of the hill from NAC Wargames, this playthrough. A couple of things before I get started. So the videos have started dropping from past sessions, and I've been getting great feedback and comments on things I've been doing wrong. Some of it I sort of discovered as I was going along, or kind of got better at when I was going along. But one thing that came up that I have been doing catastrophically wrong from the beginning is there's an order to which you have to take your reductions. So you take black reductions from black first, then from gray, then from yellow, then from white. And I've just been kind of taking them in a way that sort of suits my needs. I'm not going to try and clean this up at this point. I think that would be a little bit sort of tricky to figure out. Like even here I could replace this with gray, but it's like, what did I take? I don't really remember what I took anymore. The whole result here has to be, I'm not gonna, like, if I quote unquote win this game, I'm not going to take that very seriously because I've made so many mistakes. This is more of just for me, a learning experience, coming to grips with the game. And it's very helpful having people pointing out what you're doing wrong. But I did want to point that out, and I will start doing that correctly moving forward. So we find ourselves here in fall of 1944. The situation on the East Front is dire. The situation on the West Front, not a whole lot better. Italy's probably like way stronger than it needs to be. So we may need to address that when we do movement. But here we go. We're going to start with the bombing of Germany. And lots of bad stuff happened with the bombing of Germany last time. So I actually have to lose 2 replacements here, which is rough. And I think, wow, this is going to be really challenging, isn't it? I think I'm going to take my lack of replacements from both strategic warfare and Luftwaffe. I want to have at least a little bit of Luftwaffe replacements to try to like keep from losing dice on the air power situation. Okay, so having done that, now I'm going to actually take my replacements. So I'm going to strengthen up here just a little bit. And I'm going to strengthen up here just a little bit. And let's see, I think rolling 2 dice up here and having like a cube to get rid of will probably be a good thing. Okay, so that's my German Wehrmacht replacements, Luftwaffe replacements. I think I'm just gonna move 2 here. This is gonna be the place where it's gonna affect me the most. This could result in some extra hits. In fact, actually, you know what? That's probably gonna do that instead. No satellite replacements. So now I got to deal with the production table and just want to make sure that I've got this actually correct. I've got 1. No, I don't get that one. Sorry. I've got 1, 2. Let's see. Hang on. I'm not sure how I count these because there might be a few extra that I don't know about. Let me try to figure this out and come back and make sure that number up there, 11, is correct. All right. I think I have this right, that it's on 11, but I'm going to say it's not exactly described that I could find anywhere in the rules, like how you get sort of resources from home provinces. I'm kind of assuming, based on context clues, that these Festung sectors give you a resource, and you can also lose one if you lose that sector. So if I'm right about that, I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 Festung sectors. Sorry, 8 Festung sectors, and then I've got 1, 2, 3 sectors where I control a resource. So 8 plus 3 equals 11. And that's further kind of strengthened in my mind because, like in the 1939 setup, resources start at 8, which is the number of those resource symbols on those Festung sectors. But if someone knows better than me or knows even where that's found in the rules, that would be great because I did a search and couldn't really find where that is described. But I'm going to plow forward assuming that I have 3 or sort of 11 resources, which I probably should have set up my production table while I was doing that so I could have come back and described that, but I'm going to do that now and come back and describe that. So yeah, so with that, I've got 3 Wehrmacht replacements, 2 Luftwaffe replacements, 1 strategic warfare replacement. I am starting to lose that war badly, and then 1 on each of these because I'm not really going to do anything there this turn. So in terms of production directives, I don't have any production directives. I'm going to do political directives. I will do this bribing generals thing. So I'm going to drop unrest by 1. If you could recall from last time, unrest was actually starting to build up a little bit. So that was not particularly great. And then there'll be nothing for military directives. So with that, we're going to move into the operations phase of fall of 1944. So, oh shoot, I forgot to take my 1 strategic warfare replacement. So this is going to be, I think, a complete colossal nightmare. So the Allies are rolling 4 dice, and I'm rolling 1 gray die. Said it before. Situation falls apart quickly here. All right, that is no result for me. And they've got a strategic event and no effect. That's a hit. That's 2 hits and a strategic event. So first things first, let's look at the strategic event. Unrest goes up by 1. Great. Fabulous. At least I brought it down by 1, I guess. And then they have 2, I have 0, so I need to reduce 2 tracks. So I am going to do that. Tough choices, bad choices, no good choices. All right, movement. So first, I'm gonna clear a little bit in Italy here because I think Italy is a little overstocked. I'm not going to do any movement inside of these fronts for right now. I suppose technically I could, without the danger of a landing, I could hypothetically move these 2. In fact, let's do that. Without the danger of a landing, let's actually move these armies into here because everything leads into southern France. So they can't like break out past there. And then I wonder actually if I should move something out of Norway. We're gonna move that guy out of Norway down to there. We'll leave Norway a little bit undefended. I may want to check him out as a general. I may want to get him out of Norway. If he's valuable, he may be better placed not being in Norway. He's just sitting up there, and until sort of like spring of next turn, nothing is likely to happen in Norway, and I sort of suspect nothing's likely to happen in Norway anyway. Okie dokie. And then we're going to do a little bit of strategic movement. And for that, we're going to move this cube to strategic movement. And then here for 2, I'm allowed to do that 3 times because that is what I've got in terms of air naval control over Germany. Command. All right, I've definitely got some guys with problems here, so we're gonna roll. The top general will be in terms of like where they are on the board will be the shaded die, and the bottom general will be the white die. So this guy is going to be dismissed on a 4, 5, 6. This guy will be dismissed on just a 5 or a 6. So neither of those 2 generals, they are questioned, but they are returned to command. We're gonna, let's see, Bush is going to be questioned. Anybody else being questioned at this point? He's not being questioned. Oh yeah, I definitely have at least one general. What am I got here? Two. All right, so let's just roll one for Bush, who's up there on the board. So I don't believe, I think he's going to be fine. He'll be fine. And then here I will roll, again, shaded die, not shaded die. Oh, they're both going to be dismissed. Yeah. Yeah, both Renjulik and Von Vol and Otto Voller are going to be summarily dismissed. Because right now what we need, of course, is fewer generals. That's definitely going to be helpful. I'm realizing right now, actually, I forgot to restock my general pool here. So let me do that and come back real quick. No, I didn't forget. I'm just suddenly remembering it's not actually the new. This is fall of 44. I do that between fall and winter, so that was not actually something that needs to happen. So that did not leave any vacancies on the board that I need to fill. But I wonder if I can do some shuffling. Let me check and see if I can do some shuffling around just because I wanna. Nope, I can fill vacancies. So I'm going to need a vacancy to start moving some folks around. So Axis offensive is not happening. So now we are on to the Western offensive. We don't have to look for landings this turn because we don't have any landing markers left. The Allies have landed. So the Allies are going to make, however, 3 separate attacks here. And we'll start in Italy, where the Allies are going to be attacking down there. And let's see, 1944 on attack, 2 air and 3 dice. So we got the 3 dice there, and then the 2 air I got to roll. I just want to remind myself, I don't have any generals here that will cancel that. No, I remember. This guy gives me an extra white die. This guy actually gives me a benefit for rough terrain. So I'm rolling basically a die, and if I get an air result here, I reduce this by 1, so that's going to give the Allies an extra die. So essentially, I lost an air there, and because that's in that 1 column, the Western Allies get an extra die, so they're going to get an extra die to roll here. So I've got a gray army and a yellow army. I get a white die because I am in rough terrain, and then Kesselring, I get an extra. Let me just double check and I'll come back real quick. I'll show you what's going on. All right. So Kesselring is going to, I get an additional gray die instead of the white die for rough terrain. And Wittgenhof gives me an additional white die when I'm defending against the Western Allies in rough terrain. I don't have any generals here who can help me, so I'm not going to point a leading general here. But so I have the gray die and that die. I get this one for Wittgenhof, and I get that for Kesselring. So even with that sort of like moving that army out of Italy, I still am at least rolling the same number of dice as they are. All right. So we get a combat event, which I'll go look at, and they are going to have 3 hits, and I'm going to have 3 hits. So let's look at this combat event. If the combat is with the Western faction, that's really confusing to me. It says if the combat's with the Western faction, I move it to the bottom of the deck. But then it says +2 hits to the Western combat roll in this combat. So I'm going to assume, frankly, that is a typo, and that this card should actually say if the combat is with the Eastern faction, you move it. and instead they get +2 hits. So a tied combat now becomes a 5-3 allied victory. Presuming I've got that right. Allied hits greater than Axis hits. One reduction or one retreat for every hit in the difference. So, let's see. And then if I retreat, the AG and the leading general are going to be questioned. I kind of don't have a ton of options in terms of retreating, so I don't have any choice for reduction. You know what? Actually, here's the let's say this: in for a penny, in for a pound. Here, if I'm gonna retreat, let's just retreat. So I'm going to retreat all the way to there. I think that should be in Florence, and they are going to take control of Rome and of southern Italy. Once I decided to retreat, I might as well retreat too and save my armies, especially because I would then be left with no white armies and so no change to make, which could be really problematic. Okay, well, we've lost ground in Italy. Now we are going to do Belgium and Holland. So let's see. They have the same as before. So they have 3 dice and then that air. So once again, they are going to get rid of my last remaining vestiges of air power there, and that's going to get them a 4th die. I start with a gray and 2 white. And let's see, I'm defending across a river here. So let me go look up, and we'll get back to this once I know where I am. All right, well, having von Rundstedt in charge here is pretty useless unless I go on the attack. So that is unfortunate. And I don't know how I can possibly get rid of him. I got to get him questioned somehow. So basically I had 1 hit to the Axis combat roll for every tank result that I get on my roll. But I am not rolling anything more than what you see here. So we've got a combat card. That's going to be, so they're going to have 3 hits and I'm going to have 2 hits. Okay. Let's do these 2 combat cards. Maybe I'll get lucky and von Rundstedt will get... the USSR is not at war. They are at war. If the combat is with the Western faction... So basically, this time I believe it. That's what it is saying. So that is going to go back to the bottom of the deck there. And then the second one is carpet bombing. If there are no disputed areas in the Western Front, there are. Reduce 1 German army in a disputed area in the Western Front. Well, great. Now this doesn't reduce. I wonder if I have to follow the reduction order here. I don't know if I do, but I'm going to assume that I do. Since I've been so bad at it previously, I'm going to assume that I have to follow that reduction pattern from that card for now, rather than taking the time to go look it up, since this situation is, falling apart rapidly. Anyway, so I'm going to take that reduction partly to create some change-making opportunities there. So I create that reduction, which I will then not have to retreat, and I don't take 2 reductions, so he doesn't end up getting getting questioned. So finally, we've got northern France, which is in a, they are attacking again into a river. So I have the same dice here as I had before. They have 2 air and a strategic event. So let's see. If the air there is no effect. So there's no effect from those air things because my air, that situation is as bad as it can get. So we're just pulling a strategic event here. Hungary defects. If Ukraine is controlled by the Allies, Ukraine is controlled by the Allies. It is not. If Ukraine is not disputed, that goes to the bottom of the deck. So Ukraine is currently, I think I saw that correctly. I think Ukraine is not yet disputed. Yeah, Ukraine is not yet disputed. Now, bear in mind, if I'd been playing correctly throughout, it might very well have been disputed. But again, I can't, too hard to suss all of those mistakes out at this point. So that actually worked out pretty well in my I managed to kind of hold the line a little bit here on the Western Front. So good job to my my fighting forces there on the Western Front. But now we move over to the Eastern Front, and as always, we're gonna have 4 attacks, or as has been the case, typically we're gonna have 4 attacks going on here. So starting up the top, I've got 3 white dice. They are attacking into a river here. And let's see, Soviets, 44. Oh, so 44. So, 3 dice and a strategic event. So let's move these guys. Those guys will go up there. And we're going to take this strategic event. If Vichy is not a satellite or a neutral country, Vichy surrenders. Well, let me go. Wait, Vichy already surrendered, didn't it? I think Vichy already surrendered. Thought it did. All right, and I just realized I think I've been this has this little misfortune symbol up in the top left, and I haven't been sort of doing that at all. I wonder how many times I've missed that. So what it says is that if that turns up, that misfortune symbol turns up, roll 1 gray die. Treat any result other than a hit as no result. Let's see. Oh, no. Wait. Misfortune. Oh, that's on that. All right. So, yeah. So basically, because that symbol showed up with the year 1943, and since it's past 1943, I got to go find generals who have misfortune. So first things first, I roll a gray die. And if it's a hit, then it happens. Otherwise, it doesn't happen. So it does happen. So then I have to find generals who have this misfortune thing at the bottom. And all 3 of these currently have this misfortune thing at the bottom for me. And so then I have to select one at random. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So Christian Hansen has poor health. So I'm assuming what that means is that he comes out of the game. I can't see why that would mean anything else, but there is Christian Hansen. There he is. So Christian Hansen comes out of the game. Now, he came from my used general, so that isn't going to create a vacancy. He was just assigned as a leading general at one point. So he's out of the game with that misfortune. And Vichy did surrender. I'm reasonably certain Vichy surrendered at some point, since this status of France doesn't show Vichy anymore. That's for that. I don't remember where that token went. Oh, there it is. Yeah, that token would be on the board if Vichy had was still in the game. They're not. So that event has no effect. So Reminding myself, I think that's it because yeah, they are. Oh no, no, sorry, they're attacking with 3. So they are attacking with 3. I've got 3 of these. So Lemelson and Von Klug. I know what Von Klug does. Let me just remind myself what Lemelson does and see if I have any chance of signing a leading general here. I'm down to 2 generals total that I can use. Okay, I can't assign either of these two because they only work in planes. I roll 1 gray die instead of 1 white die because of Lemelson. So that is going to change my die makeup to this. So here we go. Okay, I got 2 hits. They got an air hit. They got 3 hits essentially. Oh no, actually that air hit, sorry, that air hit is going to do this. And we have, so they got 2 hits. I got 2 hits. So on that tie, 1 reduction. And I think I'm going to take the reduction here to, again, sort of going to create a little bit of change-making opportunity for these next combats. I guess I only really need 1 in there. Okay, so that is that combat up there. So now I've got a gray die and a white die. He is attacking. Oh, this is ugly, 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 ugly. He is attacking into a plane. So tanks are going to come into play here. So let us go and see what's going on here. He's just rolling 4 dice, just 4 dice, but no special, nothing special. So let's see. Okay. So Heinrici, who's my AG, he allows me to re-roll up to 2 dice in my combat roll. I can choose the original result or the new result. And this guy, I can change any hit on a gray die for a tank result. So let us see how lucky I can get here. Ooh, fairy. Woo! All right. So he's got a combat, oh man, combat event and 4 hits, and I've got 4 defending. So combat event. If the Slav Cooperation Political Directive card has been played, it has not. Roll 1 Soviet die for every area in the USSR where there's at least 1 Axis army. Apply 1 reduction in every area where a star result is rolled. Holy cow. Okay, well, we've got to remember that this was... Well, you know what? I'm going to do that after I do this because I think otherwise it's going to be very hard to kind of remember everything. So we've got a tie here. He's got this tank, which counts as 2 and 2 hits. I've got 4 defense because of that artillery. So I am going to... I'm going to take a reduction here is what I'm going to do. And I'm going to take it correctly this time from that gray army. I'm going to take that reduction there. Now I have to deal with this Slav Cooperation or Russian partisans. Sorry. Roll 1 Soviet die for every area in the USSR with at least 1 Axis army. So that's actually 5 areas, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So that's just going top to bottom. So that'll be 1, 2, 3, and then on down. And hopefully these dice will remain in some semblance of order here. I think that's a catastrophe. Oh, sorry, wrong one. Where the heck is that card? Wow. So I have to take a reduction, a reduction, a reduction, a reduction, no reduction. Well, that that was bad. Oh my God, that was bad. All right, well, all right. So now we've got a gray die and a white die. Here we're going into the Ukraine. Oh, just a strategic event. All right, that's good. So it's gonna save me a little bit. Well, it depends on what the strategic event is, I suppose. Air naval control in Germany is reduced by 1. That one got, by the way, that one got put here, so it'll come back next year. All right, well, our last here down in the Black Sea. Got 2 white dice, assuming that there's going to be an attack here. There definitely is going to be an attack down there. Okay, let's go figure out where we are. This is going on in a fortress space, so. All right, well, my generals don't help at all. I got one that cancels any special effect and one who cancels the reduction special effect. So this is what's going on. We're rolling all of this. So we've got 2 combat events and 2 tanks. Sorry, that's a combat event. So they are going to win by 1 hit, but let's do these combat events first. Oh, you know what? This has a misfortune. I missed that. That has a misfortune on it. So let me go back and see what happens with that misfortune. See if something happens. Yep. So we find those generals with misfortune again. Well, it's 1, and then possibly the second one is there. So odd for the left. So Rudolf Schmidt is going to be dismissed. Well, not dismissed so much as arrested by the Gestapo. Probably a much worse situation than being dismissed, I would imagine. Okay, so we got 1, they got 2, so we have to do something. So we're going to take 1 reduction, and other than that, we're going to just let that go. Boy, oh boy, I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 armies on the east front now, and I got to get an army back into Poland because of that uprising marker. Sorry, not an uprising marker, partisan marker. And it does say that I can't move the last army from that space. But it doesn't actually say technically that I have to move someone back in there when the last army is moved out. All right. So that is the end of the Soviet offensive. Sorry, I didn't move that. No military directive, no supply to check, no victory to check at this point. So what we're going to be doing is going through I will do the New Year phase on my own, and we'll sort of talk about anything that matters there. And we'll come back next time probably to do winter and spring, potentially winter and spring of 1945. But hopefully you enjoyed this. If you did, it'd be great if you could leave a like. Definitely keep the comments coming about stuff I'm doing wrong. I'm still learning as I go. That's part of the point sometimes of these videos is I like to learn what, people can watch me learn as I go, and then hopefully we can learn together. But the comments where people tell me what I'm getting wrong, super helpful for me. I'm sure super helpful for other people who are trying to come to grips with this game. If you are enjoying the series, if you're enjoying the channel, it'd be great if you could subscribe and hit the notification bell. That's very helpful to the channel. But with that, I will say goodbye for now, and we will see you next time on Agility Snips Gaming Table.